Hello everybody and welcome back to Alaris Labs YouTube channel. As you may know, the new version 3.5.1 was released, and here we are going to list the most important features and changes from the new version. As not all features and corrections will be discussed in this video, you are also able to check the full list of the innovations in the release note document, which link you can find under this video. A new field Parent Manager was added to the user interface in order to allow for more flexible user viewing permissions. If a user under System Owner Carrier is assigned a Parent Manager, the former will be able to see Parent Manager's carriers in all the interfaces. For example, you have User 1, which is assigned to the System Owner Carrier, and it is a manager for 5 carriers. Additionally, you have User 2, which is also a manager for 6 other carriers. So it means that in case we choose a User 2 as the parent manager for the User 1, as you can see on the screen, User 1 will be able to see 11 carriers in all interfaces of the system as if they are his own. Please remember that having a parent manager for a user only affects visibility of the manager carriers to the child manager. In order to change anything related to those carriers, rate changes, invoicing, child manager has to have appropriate roles defined for them. In the new version, we have added 2 new system parameters: warning threshold for running processes per core and critical threshold for running processes per core. They could be found in the comments section. The default values are 1.5 for warning and 2 for critical. These 2 settings were created to help you plan task workflow with other users and avoid situations when the system was critically overloaded, making the system hang. Previously, when several users created 3 different huge tasks such as CDR or EDR rewriting, CDR or EDR export affecting several months of data, this could have overloaded the system. If the number of processes per CPU core on your active database server exceeds warning threshold, all users who launch a resource-consuming task like CDR-EDR rewriting, CDR-EDR export in the corresponding interface VRateOrig will receive the following notification. Current average load is higher than allowed, and proceeding with the action may overload the system, as well as the task will take more time than usual. They will then be able to confirm and continue creating their task, or cancel the task and start it later. If the number of active processes per CPU core is more than critical threshold, a new task will not be created and the user will see the following alarm. System overload detected. Running resource-consuming task is prohibited until the load average is lower. The user will then have to wait until the number of active processes per CPU core either goes down or will have to increase the critical threshold in the system settings common interface. Sometimes it is useful to understand from which country the call is coming. You can notice a huge traffic coming from any exact country and decide whether it is normal behavior or, for example, it is a possible fraud. That is why we have added a new analytical layer calling country in the interface Voice Analytics. As you can see, you can check the country from which the traffic is coming. To make this possible, a new tab in the interface Start, Voice, Reference Book, Dial Codes was added. Here you can see its country code. This table will be initially filled using the current reference book codes, but it is possible to modify it later. Changes will not be overwritten. Based on this table, the system will try to determine the calling country in the analytics interface using calling number from the CDRs. Please be aware that you need to contact Alaris Labs support team and ask us to enable this layer, since it is disabled by default, not to affect performance or increase table size. You can use the following code in the ticket request. New system setting parameter Ignore emails older than n hours was added. It can be found in the data import section. It allows you to define how far in the past the mail fetching service will look for unprocessed emails when getting new ones imported. For example, let's set this parameter to 24 hours and assume that fetch mail was configured using IMAP protocol. It means that emails which were received and marked as unread more than 24 hours ago will be not imported into the system. For example, if the user will mark an email as unread and it was received 2 years ago, the system will not import it. It is useful in case the user marked an old email which was received a long time before has been marked unread by mistake, which results in the platform importing this email into the system. A new attribute resume processing was added in the interface Start, Administration, Email Processing Rules. It will allow you to process one file multiple times and import the same file into several products. Previously, the system searched for all the rules suitable for an email and selected the rule with the highest priority to run auto-rate import. Now, if the selected rule has checkbox Resume Processing active, the next rule that fits will also be used. Thus, auto-rate import may happen multiple times for one email. For example, let's assume that our system received an email at 2. After it was imported into the system, 2 rules was returned as they were found suitable. In the previous versions, only the first rule was taken into account as it has the highest priority, but now in case the rule has the option Resume Processing activated, then the next rule will be also used. As it was mentioned before, it lets you import the email into several products. In both SMS and voice rate export interfaces, a new checkbox Use Agreement Time Zone has been added. Sometimes it is needed to export rates in the time zone of your partners. For example, the system time zone is GMT plus 0 and your partner's time zone, which is specified in the agreement interface, is GMT plus 3. For our example, let's consider that effective from date of the rate is the following, and rate begins to become active at midnight. Using this checkbox, this rate will be exported using the time zone shift and will be changed to 3, as you can see on the screen. This function may be helpful if your partner requires to receive price list in its own time zone. In the new version, we have added initial support of the cancel SMPP that is a part of the SMPP specification. It is useful when you need to cancel a message when it has already been submitted to a vendor. Every time when the SMS switch sends a submit SM packet to the vendor, it waits for a submit SM response. In the previous versions, once the timeout was reached, switch attempted to use the next route from the list while the previous vendor may have been processing message already. It may have resulted in a situation when your vendor still managed to deliver the message and consider it as billable. To avoid this, now, when a message is sent to the vendor and there is no response, Switch will send a cancel SMPP to vendor with the following parameters, which lets you the vendor's system to determine the exact message. A new feature was added for MO processing in the interface shortcode reference book. You are now able to set up rates and find them using MCCMNC rest of the world in case MCC to an exact country has not been found. It is useful, for example, when you need to use the same number shortcode for many countries. In the previous versions, to satisfy this requirement, you have to add many rules to specify all possible MCCs from which you will get a message to the shortcode. Now, in case you have shortcode 7896 and it can be received from 10 countries, you can specify only one rule where 777 will be used as MCC, rest of the world. When receiving the message, the system firstly will try to find a rule where the exact MCC of the country will be specified, and in case the rule with the exact MCC will be not found, previously created rule with the MCC 777 will be used. Sometimes it is needed to change sender ID picking a substitution from a list instead of being generated randomly, or replacing it with a static value. Now, you are able to perform sender ID translation using caller ID tags in the translation rule interface. For example, our vendor provides us with 10 A numbers which we are able to use, and we need to alternate them by sending messages to the vendor. To perform this operation, firstly you need to add all available A numbers in the interface Start, Reference Book, Caller ID tags. For example, we will add 10 mentioned numbers and will call them YouTube. Now let's check the interface SMS translation rules. As you can see, by choosing the entity, sender ID, the new field tag will be activated. In this field you are able to find our tag YouTube, and it includes all numbers which were added before in the interface caller ID tags. Now, after this translation rule will be used by the routing, one of the available numbers from the list will be used randomly. Please also be aware that in case you will fill the translation field, tag selection will be hidden. We know that some of our clients use their mobiles to visit and work with the retail portal. That is why we have updated the interface to make the using of the retail portal from the smartphones more comfortable and dynamic. In case you will need any additional elaboration, please contact our support team and we will investigate the possibility to optimize the work process further. A new checkbox considered as test carrier was added in the carrier interface. In the new version, it lets you not only mark the carrier with the prefix test in the carrier name, but also to separate it from other carriers without the flag. As you can see on the screen, after clicking on this checkbox, this carrier will be shown in orange in the interface Carriers and Analytics. A new optional field Reply To was added to the interface Start, Administration, Outgoing email accounts. It lets you specify to which address the user needs to reply when receiving an email from the system. For example, we specify the address billing@alarislabs.com as from name, and this address alarisfinancial@alarislabs.com as reply from. By receiving an invoice from the system, a user 1 will see that it was received from the address billing@alarislabs.com, but by answering on this email, it will be sent to the address alarisfinancial@alarislabs.com. For the RESTful API, a new method caller ID tag was added. It lets you work with the caller ID tags module. As you can see, it is possible to view, add, and edit the tags which are located in the mentioned interface. All methods are intuitive and easy to use, but let's check the first example and we'll get all the available tags from the interface. Firstly, you need to authorize your user and then press Try It Now. The system will return all the available tags which you also can find in the interface as you can see on the screen. In the Routing Rules interface, a new button Clone located in the Choices section was added. As you can notice, by pressing it, the choice will be cloned and you are able to change it at your discretion. It can be helpful in case you need to add several similar choices. In the interface Routing Rules, you can find a new metric that allows you to use vendor's rate value in its own currency. This metric can be used as usually in the field condition or formula as you can see on the screen. This can be helpful in case you want to build formulas based on non-converted vendor price. Using the interface Start, Administration, Custom parameter types, you can add a custom field that will be shown in one of the carrier interface tabs. To do this, you need to open Entity List and choose one of the mentioned interfaces. Let's take SMSPOI. As a parameter name, we will write YouTube test. Field type as text and will enter 100 value in the field width. This parameter controls the size of the added field. The values needs to be specified as pixels. Other fields will be left without changes. By submitting this parameter, we will be able to find this field in the interface SMSPOI as you can see on the screen. As you may know, the packet exchange of the MO messages is a little different from the standard logic used for MT traffic. Usually, the system receives a submit packet at first, but as for the MO messages, firstly the system receives delivery packet. This functionality will be fully described in one of the following videos, but now we would like to announce that after the delivery is received by the switch from the vendor side, where B number is usually but not always is a shortcode and A number is a regular one, the switch will check the MCCMNC of the A number in the shortcode reference book editor interface and will send it to the client side in the field source subaddress, as you can see on the screen. As it is an optional field, you need to activate it in the channel level, so the switch can use it to send the information to client. Now, your clients can specify the priority of the message by sending it via HTTP. As you may know, the message in the HTTP protocol consists of the parameters for the client side. Your clients can use a new parameter priority flag, as you can see on the screen. In the SMPP specification it could be 2 different levels, and now the system will pass these parameters in the SMPP packet in the field priority level using 0 or 1 priority. It doesn't influence on the course of sending, but just include it in the submit packet. 2 new multi-pickers were added in the interface EDR export. There are reference MCCMNC list and HLR MCCMNC list. You can use them to specify and filter the EDRs which have the exact MCCMNC chosen in the reference book editor or returned by the HLR provider. Sometimes when exporting a report from the interface, the system needs time to process the data. It may cause the system to be stuck as the system continued the export and before it was not possible to start the report after it was already started. Now, after you run the report, you are also able to stop it promptly by pressing on this icon as you can see on the screen. The task will be closed and the process will be stopped. After the new version installation, you will find a new layer in the analytic interface. It is HLR provider. It shows you the exact HLR provider which was used to find the right MCCMNC. You can use it in any breakdown to find the needed information. Please contact our support team to activate this feature and specify the following code. SMS switch now records attempts to send MO messages even if there was no routing found for the MO message in the shortcode reference book editor interface. All the attempts are available in the EDRs, reports and interface. The status of the new attempts will be displayed as unknown MO any and will allow you to check whether the shortcode reference book record is incorrect or delivery containing the MO was formed incorrectly by vendor. As you may know, routing rules can be active for a certain period of time. Now, once the active period is over and end date of the routing rule is in the past, then the rule will be marked as inactive and the checkbox is active will be deselected automatically, as you can see on the screen. It will help with hiding the rules that are no longer active due to their period. Using the option manual testing, you can send messages to your partners in bulk to check if they are able to accept and deliver them. To enhance its functionality, we have added an option to manually define the data coding to be used when terminating messages. As you can see, you need just to choose one from the available list. Then, the SMS switch will send the message using the exact data coding. Well, that is all technical details which we plan to describe in this video. Hopefully it was useful for you. In case you have any questions regarding the new version and the features which were not described here, you can always contact our support team. If you have any suggestions regarding the channel development, we'll be happy to get them also by the following email. So, see you in the next lesson!